Well, I want to do another silver update, and I'm going to give you my angle on things. And first off, I'm going to tell you, the USA is still keeping its head and its nose and its eyes above debt as it's swimming through the green, murky waters of the financial situation as we're hitting $18 trillion, right? Now, my style on doing these videos is, I don't like people having conniptions and things like that because, silver's been staying down a lot longer than I thought. But also, I want to focus in on a subject of exactly another reason why it's staying down. And, it could be looking a lot better. It could be a situation where when you're looking at things from a different angle, we could have actually made silver go up. We could have influenced the price of silver. And I'm going to tell you that I'm not in charge of this silver deal here, man. It's like, some people say I'm a pumper. I'm like, nah, I'm not a pumper, man. I'm nothing to do with bullion dealers. I'm nothing to do with David Morgan or any of those people. And actually, pretty critical of a lot of them. I just realized, raw common sense, material stuff matters. Fictitious investments in paper. I know paper and even electrons could still be the medium of exchange, but when we got excessive debt and we got problems in the economy where things are going, there could be a devaluation of currency. I've already talked about why and all that type of stuff. But I want to tell you, man, the silver people are always putting out the drama. Whoa, the sky is falling every time the freaking silver goes up, right? Oh, the dollar's going down. The Illuminati are after us, Oh, the banksters of this and that. And, I've always said, I've said it on several other videos, we should have lobbied Ben Bernanke when he was back when he was Federal Reserve Chairman to make the silver prices go up. Now, how could we do that? You see, this is what bugs me about. It's like I can't change the freaking world, I can't change what these other silver yo-yos are saying. But man, if I really was a silver pumper, oh shit, I could make the price go up easy. If I had all these people are under my thumb. Like I think Lindsey Williams is a yo-yo disinformation clown with his DVDs and his however the hell he's. How many has he sold at $95 a pop? Man, he must be like a multi-millions off of that garbage alone. And I've seen some other stuff repeated from 2010, 2011, like it was brand new information. Same crap he said years ago. Yeah, man, tell me another one. So anyway, we got to hang tough with the stuff, but I realize it is going to break at one point in time, and I don't call it the devil's medal for nothing. But here's how we could have actually, if I was say in charge of this deal, if I really was somebody that had millions of silver pumpers out there and stuff, we could have easily made the freaking price go up, and it could stayed up. You see, the problem is everybody attacks the dollar when they talk about silver. They say the dollar is going to zero, the dollar's this, the dollar's getting weak, the USA is going down. So what the hell, the proof they like to cite is, not blonde hair, but they like to cite that it's because silver is looking stronger and it's going up in value. That's when it was going up, right? So, that was their whole rationale. So what do you think what do you think the powers that be are going to do? They're going to attack the price of silver. And actually, I realize this price of silver is down artificially. I realize that commodities in general are down due to Federal Reserve policy. There's no bullshitting around about that, okay? But if we took a totally different approach, and like I said, I wish I really was running this because I could keep the price up and keep it going up, and if I was running this deal, because this is the way I would lobby it. I would say that silver is the higher the price of silver, it's a direct reflection of the economic output, the economic outlook, and also the tech industry, and also the solar panel industry and green technology industry, the electric and hybrid car industry, because That means there's more silver. It's all used in electronics. It's used in solar panels. It's used in a lot of green earth technology. And, you could pump up the price of silver way the hell up there. It wouldn't hurt the economy at all. I mean, because it's not, it's widely used in the economy, but what type of sectors is it really used in? It's used in electronics, which is like, electric cars, electric management systems of, pollution controls, even, I could even pump up the price of palladium. Oh, that means we're going green earth. Oh, you could push a lot of things out there to pump up the price. If everybody was saying the economy was bad because the silver prices are down, actually that's a reality of the situation. That really is the reality of the situation. That really is a reflection of what the economy is. But instead of putting it in the face of the Federal Reserve, every freaking time silver goes up, the dollar's getting weaker. Oh, the USA is going to collapse. What do you think their reaction is going to be? Stupid. What the hell's the matter with these idiots, man? I wish I was running this shit. I wish I was running a whole freaking bunch of minions of... And not only would I wouldn't make the price just spike up. I would just keep it going higher and higher and higher. Because the higher silver goes, that means the better the economy's going. And we'll point to the silver prices as being health of the economy. The health of and vibrance of clean air, clean earth, renewable energy, solar power, electric cars. Come on, man. Health, biological, antibiotic reasons. The higher the price of silver, the better humanity's doing. Oh, it's improving our situation everywhere across the board. Clean air, clean earth, clean energy, antibiotics, better medicine, more sterilization of wounds and stuff. I could have easily, I could have made it into something, but I don't control these people. They're freaking idiots. And I already know. I wish I was the freaking guru of freaking silver pumpers. Not only would I put the price up, I'd keep it up, and I'd just keep it going higher. It's not going to hurt the economy. If the silver prices went up 5 times, it wouldn't hurt the economy. Not much. It wouldn't be. It would put a drag on the economy if it went up 5 times, is oil prices. That could kill the economy. But silver, even though it's all over the place and widely used, it's not like a major slice of the economic output. And oil is. That would be. Because everything's transported, everything uses direct energy. And, we could say, well, the higher the price of silver, we're getting an economic benefit from it because we're using renewable clean energy. But now, nobody wants to freaking, put this out like this. They just want to criticize the crap out of the Federal Reserve, the banksters, the USA is going down. So what do you think their reaction is going to be? To manipulate the price down. That's exactly what they've been doing. It's kind of a balancing act on their part. I don't know how long they're going to be able to do this. I'm thinking to myself, I'm just going to keep buying more. But I want to get those ones with the British ones, man. I get more expired. I had so much British lineage roots or some crap. I'm thinking I did know it, but then I didn't realize who the hell it was exactly. That was the thing. Anyway, so, but I'm going to tell you, there's so much fluff in society, and here's the problem. You got people going to, you say, well, way in the back in the day, a girl would hear she was riding a motorcycle and she was standing on a motorcycle. Well, to me, that's actually a better thing to do. It's actually more worthwhile than some of the college classes people are taking today. And this is an example of how much fluff we got in society. Could you imagine going into debt for college because you took selfie class? Selfie class. Selfie, like you take selfie with the pictures? You got a class on it. It's a college class. I got a selfie class. Ponder that situation. Here you are paying off $100,000 debt for college, and you took selfie class or something like that, or you took Revolution, Rebellion, Recreation class, or you took selfies, snapshots, and cyberbullies class, or you took hip hop class or something like that, man. Hey, man, oh boy, I mean, for crying out loud, man. It's like, or, sociology of Miley Cyrus class. Ponder that situation. We got like some corruption in our society that, why we got a problem? Because people are actually not getting down to the nuts and bolts of what the hell really matters, I mean, purple hair is cool, but, purple. Well, it's like chrome don't get you home. Purple hair, I don't know what rhymes with that, but, it's not going to work, if that's what it is. Maybe pink hair might work. But the thing is, we got a top-heavy situation in the United States whereby, people are, they're superfluous, narcissistic yo-yos, man. And, they're living in a dream world. Somebody can live in like, total squalor, and you give them, DVD or something like that, and they got internet connections, and, they ignore everything around them because they're absorbed in another world, you know what I mean? But, that's another thing, too, because even you look at the millennials, man, you talk about, I mean, they do like to label these people, what is it, the war generation or something from the World War II. They got the baby boomers after that, Generation X, and the millennials. I tell you, the millennials, man, they don't have squat, man. They ain't got nothing going for them right now. It's almost like they don't have houses, they don't have big screen TVs, they don't have money, they don't have shit. That's why they're not even hooking up to cable TV. They can't afford shit, you know what I mean? And, it's almost like, where's the money going? Well, the money's not really going well, part of the deal is we get taxed a lot, way more than King George III taxed us way back when. And on top of that, all that money just goes into the people that are parasites on the top, otherwise known as the too big to fails. But really the situation is, if they just took that money and they spent it, like, in other words, they tax people, right? And they say they took that money and they spent it to build stronger bridges, better irrigation, safer roadways, improve agriculture or something like that, improve the harbors or something, whatever, in the shipping, whatever. It would actually stimulate the crap out of the economy. But what happens is it just goes into a bunch of people that don't do anything. You know what I mean? If you had $1 gazillion, you just gave it to people that don't do anything, well, it doesn't help. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, I don't give a shit if they wear suits or not, and they're up there in Wall Street on the high big towers. They don't do anything. They don't do anything freaking real, period. Zero. Nothing. That's the problem, man. That's why they can stimulate all they want. I always put a video down at the bottom of the links. It was about the local currencies. In Austria, not Australia, and it's not the Austrian School of Economics. It's nothing to do with that. It just was a thing they did in the 1930s in the Depression. They took local currencies. They made local currencies. They made them up, right? They backed them with some central bank Austrian notes, and they just put them in the economy. And they went around and circulated so fast they didn't even have to do so much. They didn't even have to put anywhere near as much in the economy. Like I mentioned the freaking thing about, this guy walks in a hotel, he puts $100 down on a desk, and the guy goes, well, I don't think we have any rooms. Well, hold this $100, and I'll come back later. You check for rooms, and, I'll come back in a couple hours, see if you got any rooms, and then if you don't have any rooms, you give me the $100 back. So what the guy did is he took the $100, he went over to the restaurant, he paid some bill over there, then the restaurateur, he paid the butcher because for the goods he got. Then the butcher went over to the bar tab, and he paid the bartender a tab, and he canceled out that debt, right? And then the bartender paid the hooker. He got sex on credit, right? So he paid off that debt. Then the hooker went back to the hotel, and she paid off the $100 on the room she owed the hotel to. So it went right back in the hands of the clerk. In the meantime, the guy came back, and he says, "Hey, wait a minute, you know, I don't have any rooms for you, so here's your $100 back." In the meantime, it canceled out about $600-700, like 6 or 7 times the debt. Debt is a guy's, man. The assholes on the top playing this game with debt are just freaking stealing all the real stuff, and the debt is a scam. You know, that's all it is. It's a scam. The whole thing's a scam, all the way. But you can't like just issue currency and give it to people that don't do anything. It doesn't work. Period. If you just freaking issued and made currency, even if it inflated the economy, in the meantime, you built something that freaking counts, that's a durable good, that's an actual capital expenditure that has a useful life to it. Like when you build roadways and dams and irrigation and fix the harbors and fix the bridges and whatever else is out there, and improve the municipal buildings and stuff, you know, or, I don't know, explore for oil and coal, whatever, right? Or even fix the nature, you know, making wildlife corridors or something. But, you know, in the meantime, you know, they just hand it to the freaking guys on the top. And that's why the freaking, no matter how much they stimulate the economy, quote unquote, it ain't going to work. That's why it has been, that's why they've been getting less and less residual feedback, or whatever you want to call that, you know, bang for the buck every time to try to stimulate the economy. It just goes in the hands of freaking do-nothings. That's why it don't work. They don't produce nothing. But like I said, if I was in charge of this deal, what I would do is I would lobby for just make the price. I wouldn't go lobby to the freaking silver manufacturers and the silver miners and shit. Nah, not that. I would lobby to. The more you explain to people that the economy sucks because the price of silver is low, and if everybody was saying that same message, they would raise the price of silver. And if everybody says, well, the price of silver's up, that means they're going green earth, that means they're getting serious about clean energy, that means the tech sector is getting stronger, that means the medicinal antibiotic sector is getting stronger, and they're moving into areas where, you know, antibiotics traditionally are weak, so they're going with colloidal silver and colloidal silver bandages and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, hey, man, you know what happened? If everybody's pushing that kind of stuff, the Fed would be pushing the price up. It wouldn't even hurt the economy. It wouldn't put a drag on the economy. Oil would put a drag on the economy. Silver? Nah, hardly nothing. But I'm not in charge of this deal, so that's how it is. But I think the situation's going to change drastically at one point in time. And when it hits, it's going to hit really hard. In other words, I don't know. Silver's going to take you by surprise, man. I know it's been taking me by surprise in a bad way, but it's going to take you by surprise in a good way when it goes up. And, you know, I remember, what was it, a few years ago or so, whatever that was, back in 2010, it was actually 5 years ago, when silver went to 30, and everybody was saying it was way too high. And then when it goes well over 40, people said that that was way too low. It's all reverse psychology, and right now nobody's touching it because it's been going down. I don't know how much farther it's going to go down, but you know, there's a lot of predictions about the end of September or the beginning of October, and maybe that'll be the big turnaround. You know, it might be just right around looking over our shoulder. So in the meantime, just chill out. I'm not freaking putting out a doom and gloom video here. I'm giving you a common sense video. And I really do wish I was the grand guru of in charge of silver pumpers, because not only would I got the price up, because these guys are all, like I said, they're saying all the wrong things. Every time silver goes up, they attack the dollar, the Federal Reserve, they attack the United States, they attack the powers that be. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to drive the price back down again. Stupid. Why do they do that? You know, I would just say, well, if silver's going up, that means, we're going to green earth. There must be, the policies are great. The economy must be strong because silver's going up. And that's a great indication of that the United States is really an industrial powerhouse because the silver's going up. I can make silver go way up, man. But I need like thousands of minions freaking following I have to tell them what the hell to say, for crying out loud, these stupid shits. But that's the way it goes, man. I am shrewd if I want to be. I am shrewd if I want to be. But I realized that was always like, I can't change. I can't tell people what to say. I wish I could. Because we could have lobbied silver up well over $100. But, if silver was up over $100, you know what these jerks would be telling you? Well, I would have sold it before it hit that shit. But say it was, I mean, if it ever goes up again, the first thing, the out of the mouth, everybody, the dollar's collapsing, the Fed is crap, the banksters are on the run, and they'll drive it back down again. I do think it's going to go up again, though, and I think it's going to, I think it's going to be spike. I don't know how high, but I think the next time the next time it spikes, it can go to some ungodly amount you wouldn't expect. I don't know about the 100, but I think it could be, 65 to 75. And when it comes down, it won't be down this low, because the main reason we're looking at these crazy silver prices today is because the dollar is strong. Silver actually is not doing that bad in other currencies. Like if you were in Russia, for crying out loud, you'd be thinking silver was doing great over the last couple of years. You'd be saying, whoa! Any country that has their currency tied to commodities, silver's not doing too bad at all. It's just, the U.S. dollar, it's not looking good. But, I don't know. I sure wish I was one of the, I was in charge of this deal, but I'm not. Stupid people in charge of this deal because they're freaking, they do everything in the world to freaking push the price down by what they say. They piss off the powers that be. They piss off the Federal Reserve. They throw stones at, even if you think they're screwed up, why the hell would you want to make it so they're going to fight back and attack the price of silver and drive it down? Because you're trying to say that anytime the silver price goes up, that means they're all screwed up and everything's falling apart. Does that make sense? No. But that's exactly what they do. And that's another reason why the price of silver is down. You can blame it on these idiots for freaking telling you the freaking elite are on the run every freaking day. So, I wouldn't be doing that shit. And nothing I can do about it, though, okay? Nothing I can do about it. They're just freaking stupid. And I wish they were working for me or some shit, or I was running this show, but it's just the way it works, man. I wish I was the freaking guru of the silver pumpers, man, because I know how to market this shit, man. And it's not marketing from the freaking silver miners and all this other shit and this bullion dealers. No. It's like marketing to I used to say Ben Bernanke. It would be Janet Yellen and the U.S. Treasury Secretary and whoever's in charge of the economy, Obama, something. Obama, buy a silver car or some shit, advertise on a site. Well, not the fact that people are buying bullion. You can buy all the bullion in the world. In other words, they ain't going to drive the price up. It seems there's those little bots they got trading back and forth is what's knocking the price down. Oh, they could drive it way the hell back. They could drive it up to the freaking moon if they wanted to. But if the public had it in their mind that high silver prices means the economy is very strong and healthy, and we're going green earth and high tech, and the tech industry is strong, and we're saving the planet through all our green earth technology and clean energy and renewable sources and solar panels, and that silver demand and that silver high price is proof of that. And if the public had that in their mind that that's the way it is, they'd drive the price of silver up to like $300 an ounce. Yeah, they would. But like I said, I'm not in charge of this deal, man. I'm only one voice. And I already know how the freaking game should have been played, but I can't freaking change what these idiots do. So that's the way it goes. But in the meantime, chill out. I don't freaking want people worried about things too much. When silver freaking jumps up, they don't call it the devil's medal for nothing because it can take you by surprise. And Nobody knows when this shit's going to go up. I think it's overdue for going up. But I'm also, like I said, repeating it again, is that I realize silver is down largely because of these silver pumper idiots attacking the Federal Reserve, the banksters, and the powers that be by freaking constantly trying to tell the public every time silver goes up, that means the dollar and the economy is bad. You're supposed to freaking convince them the other way around, dummy. Anyway, nothing I can do about that.